First of all, congratulations on the Arizona Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Mark.
That must feel really good.
Yes, it's a great honor. It's you look it back. When I was first found out about it, I started reading about it and the history and who's been involved and just how many people have been associated with it, and it's a really star-studded list.
If I were in your shoes, that would mean so much to me. It isn't just about what the athlete does on the field. It's how they ingrain themselves in the community and how they helped lift their community. And that, I'm sure, knowing you as well as I do, is so important to you.
Well, absolutely. That has to be a part of your ethos. I mean, you're brought to the city, right? I came to Arizona because I was brought here for work, but I live here. My children were born here. This is home for me now. And when you're able to stay in a certain place for that long, it's your responsibility to really dig in and dive into the community. And that's why I'm so excited about our relationship with the American Cancer Society. Joining forces with them, they raise hundreds of millions of dollars that really goes to fighting a disease that has devastated my family. Took my mother's life, has affected two of my mother's sisters. It's really touched my life in a way that I wish it hadn't, but it's opened my eyes to how devastating it can be, and it's made me more aware, and it's made me more proactive, and also my hands are firmly on the wheel of doing everything I can in my power to eradicate this disease.
I lost my mom to cancer too, and I just remember the feelings of anger and frustration as I watched her fight this battle. And I think that's the hardest part, and the thing that people don't understand is it's not just the person fighting cancer, it's the whole family.
The whole family is affected. And the one thing I do love about this campaign, Mark, is often you look around. There's issues that people, Republican. Oh, I'm not a Republican. I'm a Democrat. Or I'm a Democrat. No, I don't believe in that. Like, cancer is a common enemy to everybody. Everybody knows somebody who's been affected adversely from this disease and would do anything in their power to be able to make sure they brought that loved one back or save a loved one that's battling it or somebody who might be going through it. And that's the one thing that I really believe that we can all band together, to raise awareness, to help combat this ugly disease.
When I mention your mom, what comes to your mind about the lessons that she taught you that to this day you sort of live through her?
So it's changed over the years. My mother passed away in April of 2003. It's coming up on 20 years since she lost her life. That the way I feel has changed over the years. Initially, I was 19 years old. I was angry. I was angry at the world. I was angry at God. I had a lot of frustration, a lot of questions that I had. Why my mom? Why does my family have to be affected in this way? And it's a lot of questions that a lot of people ask. But now, almost 20 years later, I look back with a lot of pride and admiration for who she was and the blessing I had to be able to be around her for 19 years. A lot of people don't have the chance to have their mother or their father or their aunt or their grandparent for 19 years. That's plenty of time to make an indelible mark in somebody's life. And she did that for my brother and I and other people in my family. So now I look back and I say, she created an amazing legacy. She lived a life that was always to serve others. She set a tremendous example for me to live by, a template almost that she gave me. And I have a tremendous platform. I have a partner in the American Cancer Society who has a worldwide reach. I feel like the possibilities are endless, and I'm really excited about where we are. We got here through devastation, frustration, and anger, but we're here now, and the ball's in our court, and we're going to do some good things with it.
What's the biggest lesson she taught you?
She taught me so many, but the one I would say is just, her humility, her passion to serve was something I always really respected and admired about her.
And is that why you started the foundation?
In part, yes. I started in my second year because I wanted to get in the league as a 20-year-old and really kind of establish myself and get my feet on the ground and make sure that I can hold my own in the National Football League. But as soon as I was able to kind of get the reins, so to speak, I wanted to continue to do some of the work that my mom was doing, and to make sure she would, be proud of me, on the journey that I was trying to go down. And she's, like I said, she gave me the blueprint, and I'm nowhere near on her level, but I like to think that I'm tracking, and that's what I'll be happy with. That.
I'm sure you
Yeah.
are, and I'm sure she's very proud of you. Larry, we were talking about your involvement with the American Cancer Society because of the unfortunate situation with your mom, and there's probably not one person watching this interview that hasn't been impacted by cancer in some way. Talk about the goal and the mission of your involvement here.
Well, I mean, initially when I started the foundation, all I could ever think about is, the pain that my family felt and how I could alleviate that stress on people that, especially in my community. And so when we launched it, in 2005, I would have never envisioned that we would get to the place where we are now, where we're teaming with, the American Cancer Society, talking the largest, one of the largest organizations in our country that has reach that is unparalleled. To be working with my foundation is something that I was elated about when the opportunity presented itself, and finding new and creative ways where we can work together is one of the reasons we launched on the 1st of November our Breast Believe campaign, which is an evergreen campaign where we're going to provide mobile mammograms and things of that nature for people who are in need. And that's something that I'm extremely passionate about, and I'm really looking forward to getting my feet on the ground and getting to work.
And I know, because we talk about it all the time here on 12, the importance of women to be their own advocates and do a breast self-exam monthly, and to detect things that way. And so many women are saved because they detect something on their own.
It is extremely important to do self-evaluation, but not only for women to do it, but for men as well. Breast cancer in men has really risen over the last few years, and so, men, if you're listening, I would encourage you to do the same thing.
How are the plans for the tournament coming?
They're coming out great. We're going to be having the tournament of the 17th and 18th of November at Weston Carolyn Golf Course there, and we're finalizing sponsorships and celebrities playing in an event. So if there's any interest, you can go to Larry Fitzgerald Foundation.org for more information, or if you want to participate as a foursome or individual, we'd love to have you.
It has to be great for the American Cancer Society to have your involvement and to have you so willing to jump in with both feet.
Well, I feel the same way about having the American Cancer Society wanting to partner with the Larry Fitzgerald Foundation. I'm a very small organization. They were a massive. They could pick anybody, and they decided to do it with us, and that just gives me even more resolve to want to do wonderful things when you have that kind of backing, that type of support, and I'm elated about what the future holds.
Look, you know I love you and respect you. We've known each other for a long time, but I do have a bone to pick with you.
Okay.
I wanted to hear a goodbye speech. I wanted to hear how you would say goodbye to the fans who loved you and cheered for you all those years. How come you decided not to do one?
Because I'm never going to say goodbye to this community. That's not something. It's not a goodbye. It's a I'll see you later. That's more. Like if you look around town, you'll see me in the restaurants. You'll see me at sporting events. You'll see me at the Heart Ball. You'll see me at Boys and Girls Clubs around the city. You'll see me all over. I'm not going anywhere. If anything, I'm actually more present than I've ever been. So I don't like to look at it as a goodbye. And I don't believe I'm not retired. I'm busier now today than I've ever been. So I feel like I'm in complete drive mode. I love, similar to you, I love what I'm doing. I think that we live for a higher purpose. That's the way I felt like it. I'm not retiring. I'm just transitioning and transitioning to do some pretty cool things.
Your last game, you were on the sidelines, and I know that is not the way Larry Fitzgerald wanted to go out. Is that the moment when you said, I'm done, I'm pulling the pin, or was it something else?
No, I knew well before then that was time to transition into something else. But no, the fact that I was banged up, I could have played, but I know I wouldn't have been as effective as I needed to be. We would have won that game, we'd have been able to go into the playoffs. Like, had I not been able to get to a catch on third down, that was pivotal, or have I not been able to stretch out and make a touchdown catch, like that would have killed me down the stretch, that I prevented my team physically because I couldn't do what I was capable of doing. Like that would hurt me more than watching on the sidelines, honestly, because I knew physically I couldn't be effective the way I was moving at that point, and it was the unselfish thing to do. You know, a younger Larry would have tried to play, you know, through it, but I knew I just didn't have I didn't have the juice then.
So it wasn't a hard decision?
No, I was content. You know, my body was starting to just not recover the same way, and you know, I talk to guys all the time. They're like, you know, when do you know it's time to kind of move on? They're like, you'll know. Like, I knew. Once I got COVID and over Thanksgiving break, and like when I got kind of sick. You know, not like where I had to go to the hospital, but sicker than I'd ever been before.
Sure.
And you know, you kind of grapple with your, you know, with your humanity. You know, it's the first time you kind of feel like you're susceptible.
I
can
hear the knocking for myself.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, so you know, you play football and like you feel like you're a gladiator and you can overcome just everything. And that was like the first time I ever felt like, wow, like I'm vulnerable just like everybody else is.
Yeah.
I could be taken down by anything too. And you know, you start thinking about, you know, your families and wanting to be there. Like all of these thoughts came into my mind for the first time, and I'd never looked at it like that before. And so I knew it was getting to that time.
Well, thank you for giving as much as you could for as long as you could to all the fans here. I think I speak for the fans when I say, even though we couldn't do it when you made a retirement speech from the NFL, thank you, man.
Thank you.
You did it right for a long, long time.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow Arizona's top stories and breaking news by downloading the 12 News app and subscribing to the 12 News YouTube channel.